that what would a general officer who's been in uniform, having led a disciplined life all through with an excellent team who was responsive at every order which was passed to them, had an efficient supply chain management, high morale to troops. Where has he seen the chaos? And what will this military officer talk about chaos? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that everything that we do in our life, everything that we act upon during day-to-day functioning is studded with chaos. Whether it is operations, whether it is battlefield scenario, whether it is ambush, whether it is patrolling, you go into counterinsurgency operations, you go for aid to civil authorities, disaster management, and as mundane an activity as pulling out a child from a borewell, there is chaos which is surmounted by us. But how do we do it? We do it with the help of something called as resilience. So there's chaos, but chaos has to be surmounted with resilience. And that resilience is something that I'm going to talk about today. First of all, we need to understand what chaos is. Chaos is something that spans all borders, that spans gender, that spans the age, or that spans caste, class, country, continent. Each one of us at some stage or the other has been privy to chaos. And that chaos which we see is something, is a state of emptiness in our mind. That chaos is something which doesn't work. That chaos is something when you want something to happen, your mind stops functioning. That chaos is something where you want to take a decision and certain faculties pull you back. That is chaos. And it's a word borrowed from Greek word, which is called as epis, means a state of emptiness. And this state of emptiness is something that needs to be overcome, that needs to be surmounted by us. This is chaos. And how do you do it? Who better than the management students of today's world will know this chaos? The management business environment today is full of chaotic environments and chaotic conditions. And what are these chaotic conditions? It's all before you. Hugely competitive world. There's overflow of information, overflow of data, abundance of data, data analytics, big data requirements, communication failures. All of these lead to some kind of a disorder. And this disorder is something that has to be handled in the VUCA world. All of you know what VUCA world is. VUCA world is basically volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. If these four things can be embraced by the management students, then you will be able to handle the chaos. If you know all these things, if you can deal with this chaos, this is the nervous factor which I call. This nervous factor has to be overcome, and that is what resilience will do to you. That is how the resilience will help you in overcoming this. And what does it take to reach to that stage of resilience? How to sail through this chaos? I would recommend that all of you make a good concoction, make a good smoothie of these qualities which are now being displayed. Grit, courage, determination. You name a term which is taught in management and just put it in that glass, that smoothie glass, store it somewhere, great matter. At the back of your mind, whenever there is a chaos, just pull it out, gulp down 2-3 sips, and you'll find you'll be able to understand the why of that chaos. And once you know the why of that chaos, the because will come thereafter. Once you know the reason for that why, the solutions will come thereafter. And that solution will come thereafter with the help of resilience. And what is resilience? Resilience is something which is a quintessential element that has to be owned and possessed by the managers, by the leaders. And each one of us are managers and leaders in day-to-day life. And that is what resilience is. And what does the resilience do to you? It is that power to keep going, that power of perseverance. It is that power which defeats all those factors which retard your progress, which defeats your own teammates who at times have the crab mentality of pulling you down. It defeats those adverse winds which tend to slow down your speed and growth. That is resilience. And I'll supplement my argument with the help of certain examples during the course of my talk. If you all see, some of you have heard Billie Jean King, the famous tennis player. She was the one who always fought for gender equality in sports, was resilient enough to reach a stage wherein she decided to play a match against the men's champion and won the Battle of Sexes tournament. She defeated him there and proved her point that sports does not need gender bias. You heard of another legend, Malala Yousafzai. 11 years she delivered her first speech, was resilient to pursue her passion for girl education for girls. At 15, she gets a bullet in her head and yet goes to become the youngest Nobel laureate. We all know Dr. Nelson Mandela. Let's say the better about him. He was the one who ensured that apartheid is vanished. And what did these people have in them? What did they do for us? How did they reach that? They braved the odds in their lives. They were the ones who faced adversities day in and day out. They lived through the chaos and became an epitome of resilience for us. That is resilience. That is the one which helps you to tide over chaotic conditions and chaotic situations. Another legend most of you have heard is Helen Keller. 19 months old child losing her eyesight and rises to become one of the famous educationists, a lecturer, an inspiring example of resilience and courage. And the lesson she left for us, just read these lines. The only thing worse than being blind is to have sight but no vision. This is something which we are taught. This is something which we must admire. We have to have a mission. We have to have a vision. That is resilience. She had a vision for herself. She was resilient enough. Some of the Indian examples, we don't have to go into details. We all have read them. You go back to our independence movement. The examples are ample in that. I'll not go into each case, but go back and see our own Mahatma. How resilient was he? How focused was he? He stuck to his non-violence despite various chaos created from within the country and from forces outside. But he stuck to non-violence and ensured that we get independence by what he had thought as his vision of non-violence. Go to another example. I'll want to share this with you. The resilient scientists of India. In 1963, when the first rocket station was to be established, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he called for his subordinate, Dr. Abdul Kalam, who at that time was his subordinate and later became the president. They had a chaotic conditions in terms of paucity of resources, funds, infrastructural deficit, and yet they transported the rocket parts in bullock carts and cycles. That was resilient scientists. And look at the resilient society. They established this rocket station, and what happened thereafter? When they reached there, when they chose Tumba, they realized that there was no place for them to establish the center, the laboratory. What did they do? Dr. Abdul Kalam, he went to the father there in the nearby church. The entire village was a Christian-based population. He requested them for some space where the father was living. The father called him on a Sunday Mass and told him, in front of everybody during the Mass, that not only my cottage is with you, but we are vacating the church to establish the rocket center, our space center. That's how it was established. That is the resilient society. Imagine a Hindu scientist, Dr. Sarabhai, calling a Muslim subordinate who walks across to a Christian, and the land is made available, the church is made available. That is a resilient Indian society. That is a resilience. This is what sees the chaos through. The entire chaotic condition of not having a place to establish a rocket center was seen through. And today also we have our Kumba station functional there. That is resilience for you. That is what resilience has to be done. You know them more than me, you all know it. Kapil Dev, 1983, India was 5 down at 17 runs. The cricket captain walks in. Not only do we win that match, not only does he take the team out of the chaos created by the first 4 batsmen or 5 batsmen, but goes on to win the World Cup as underdog. What has Dhoni done for us? We all know it. So many chaotic conditions, so many tensions, so many things, challenging situations. But he wins the game for us. That is leadership in chaos. That is resilience. That if we have to do something, we'll do it. I'll talk about the military resilience. I'll fail if I don't talk about the military resilience. Chaos was created by our neighbor, Western neighbor, 1947-48. They dared to challenge us. They raised their heads again in 1965. We were resilient, carried on, kept quiet. And then again in 1971, when again they came forward, what did we do? We wanted to come out of this chaos of every now and then fighting a battle. We changed the globe, we changed the geography, and wiped out the East Pakistan to emboss a new country called Bangladesh on the map of the world. That is military resilience. That is how we handle the chaos. So this is the examples in Indians. This thing. What you need to understand is, in chaotic times, what happens? In chaotic times, those who are weak, they break. But in chaotic times, those who are leaders, they prove their mettle. In chaotic times, they are the ones who rise to the occasion and they demonstrate how to lead, how to tide over those challenges, how to surmount those challenges. They bounce back by accentuating the positivity. They take care of the negativity, put the negativity under carpet, remain calm, composed, never panic. In chaos, if you tend to panic, be rest assured, defeat will be at your feet and not victory. Tactfully galvanize your team. This is the lessons, and each one of these figures or photographs or portraits I'm showing here are the ones who have proved it time and again that chaos can be handled provided you maintain this. So what do you need to do to surmount those challenges, those chaotic conditions which come your way? First of all, you need to have foresight. Have foresight. Think beyond the immediate future. Way beyond immediate future. Then only you can plan. That will be dictated by your vision and that will be dictated by your vision. Thereafter, have redundancy of plans. Redundancy means if one fails, the second one will work. If the second option fails, the third will work. If nothing works, your gut feeling should work. That this is what I have to do at this time, and I'll not look back over my shoulders for my leader or my bosses to tell something. Be innovative. Be innovative. Take those decisions. And along with the innovativeness, you got to be creative. Be creative also. Because once you're creative, innovative, you'll find some solutions which normally you are being told as out-of-box solutions. In army, we normally say that if you're prepared for 3 options for the enemy to come and attack you, be rest assured, enemy will adopt the 4th one. This is as much relevant in management, is as much relevant in your day-to-day parlance, and something called as risk tolerance. It's also called as tolerance for ambiguity. In the absence of any orders, in the absence of any directions, in the absence of any clarity, be ready to take decisions. That is risk tolerance. And last of all is contingency planning. Have some contingency planning. As a parting gift now, or as a parting, go next. As my last parting thoughts, I leave with you just 2 thoughts. One is, ensure while you are handling chaos, there will be pressures on your mind to tinker with your morality. Never compromise your morality, your integrity, your honesty. Take decisions as per your morality. And last of all, leaders tame the chaos. You have to be the leaders who will tame the chaos. If you get manpower resources as per your requirement, if you get time as you want it, you get every other resource as per your choice, you get funds and finances as have been projected by you, then I'm sorry friends, leaders are not required. That managers will manage. No chaos will happen. Chaos will happen when none of these is assigned to you, and yet you deliver the results. That is how you have to manage the chaos, and that will happen only in case you are resilient enough. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind.